Hey, hey there, Jacob Rohrbach from Dark Fire Productions, and I'm here to tell you a three-part story of how I became diabetic. Well, not really how I became, but how I was diagnosed. And basically what I'm going to do is go through a three-part story of where I'm going to tell you the first part of the struggle I went through before I was diagnosed. And the second part is going to be my little experience in the hospital. And the third part is how my life is affected now. I'm going to try to keep this cutting minimal, or at least not at all, because this is quite an emotional story for me. I went through a lot of pain and struggling just for this. And I almost died, actually. So yeah, there's that. So I guess we should start with the first part of just the struggle I went through. It was about 3 years ago when I was first diagnosed, to this month. I know that because in a hospital, I was stuck watching the special on the Travel Channel, I think it was, because they had nothing else good on, because I was during school and they don't really have anything that appealed to me. Except for that little special where it's like 100 scariest places or something like that. But 3 years ago, it was my 17th birthday, and I wasn't really feeling good. Like, I was sitting in my grandpa's chair, which he never lets me do. He was off in Pennsylvania somewhere, visiting family. And I wasn't really feeling too good. I had a weird bump on my tailbone that would hurt whenever I'd sit down or do anything. It doesn't help that the week I got that bump, we had to do stuff that in gym. I was in weight training at the time, second period. And for that, I had to constantly do stuff that required putting pressure on my tailbone, which hurt a lot. So after that, I was like, Grandma, can we go to the doctor? Because I don't like this bump. I don't know what it is. And I would like, at least like a doctor to know so I don't have to do this stuff. That would hurt me a lot. So we went, and the doctor, it wasn't my normal doctor, it was some guy I don't know. And he was like, well, that is a skin infection, so it will go away eventually. So here's a doctor's note for like, get away out for a week. And I was like, okay, that's fine by me. Well, it didn't go away. That week, I just basically walked around the track, sat around doing nothing. And then I started feeling even worse. Like, I couldn't walk long distances. I couldn't really do well. Like, I would walk around a track once and be like, I walked an entire mile. Or ran an entire mile. Actually, I was out of breath. I couldn't walk any further. I was just exhausted. So I went to the doctor again. He's like, well, that is a cyst. And that's not good, but right now we'll wait to see what happens. And I was like, well, how is a cyst causing me to feel like this? So we waited another week, and that week, I had tech that week. I worked in theater tech for a while, like for 4 years in my high school career. Now I'm in college, and I'm not doing any theater because that took up too much of my time. But that's not the case right now. But there we were doing the show Grease, and we were building these bleachers kind of thing for one part where the people are gathering around there talking and such, and I think one person was playing on it, like playing a song of it. But as we were building it, I kept getting really weak, and I was just going to the bathroom constantly. I was ready to throw up, and I was just feeling like crap. I pushed myself to the limits of what I can do. So then after tech, I was sitting outside in the back parking lot on the floor, no energy left because I just wasted all of it building that one thing. It took probably the entire day, which was like from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So I spent the entire time building it with the help of 2 of my friends in tech. Well, everyone's my friend in tech because, well, we became like a family there. But that's not the point. Then the head, like the TD, the head person in tech, came out holding this giant jug of Sunny D, and it's like, said, Jake, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm feeling like crap, I have no energy, I'm thirsty. Like, it was the point where my mouth dried up, my lips would stick to my teeth, because there was no saliva in there. So he gave me some Sunny D, and that helped me a little bit, like, I had some energy left now. I went home, and it was like a week after my birthday, and I got some movies. Godfather trilogy, Goodfellas. I got a bunch of movies. That's all I asked for. So I went home and watched Goodfellas. I only got halfway through until I couldn't figure out what was going on around me. Like, I was so out of it, I couldn't even know what was going on. The next day, I started throwing up violently. Like, every few minutes, I would go run to the bathroom and throw up until I couldn't throw up anything else. And I was like, Grandma, there's something wrong with me, because I haven't felt sick since elementary school. And think about this, I was a junior in high school. I haven't had a sick day since then. And, well, we spent a week because they thought I was just sick, as well as I did, because I didn't know what was going on. I thought the cyst on my tailbone was causing me to become sick. Well, that week was just the worst week of my life. It was actually 2 weeks, come to think of it. Because then the next week, I started hallucinating. Like, first things I saw, I couldn't sleep for a few days. I was laying on my bed right here, looking at this girl in a weird fog. It was like around midnight, I was freezing cold, my body was just failing me. And there was this girl here with long, greasy, black hair, glowing white eyes, and in a white, dirty dress, like she was in mud or something. And she would just stare at me for hours on end. It would terrify me. Then I was like, okay, this girl, I don't like this. I'm moving to another room. So I went to the kitchen and sat down on my grandpa's chair. And it was there where this giant robot, like the robots from Fallout New Vegas, if you want a little visual of that. He was tall, rounded, with one wheel at the bottom, 2 long arms. He would give me like a glass of milk. And the thing is about that is, I would grab the milk, I would physically feel it in my hand, the condensation on the glass. And I would drink it, and I would feel it, like, going down my throat. I would feel this going on. Like, I would not go through it, I would actually physically grab it. By the time I put it down, it would vanish. This was way too weird for me, so I went to the family room where, on the coffee table that I built when I was dying, there'd be like 50 water bottles there, because I was still thirsty constantly. My mouth was extremely dry, like I could not produce saliva in my mouth. So I went down on the couch and laid down. Then suddenly this morning radio show started going on where people would try to interview me, and I was like, shut up. So I threw my pillow and knocked over every water bottle on the left side of the table. That was a hint to me of saying, there's something not right here. And I like how that was a hint to me. Not the weird girl in like the corner of my bed, not the giant robot in the kitchen, but the morning radio show suddenly just vanishing right before my eyes. The next day I told my grandma, I need to go to a doctor now. So we went. And the thing is, she had to basically carry me the entire time. Like she was being my support. Because I couldn't walk any further. I could not get the energy to walk. They put me into the hospital, the doctor's office. And it was there where the doctor came in, said, you are not well. And sent me directly to the St. John's Medical Hospital. That's not where I stayed, though. I stayed in a place called Emmanuel at Portland. Because they didn't have the stuff they needed to keep me alive at St. John. But at St. John, I was laying in a bed. They put me in a wheelchair, I think. I don't remember. I was starting to really lose it. I could not focus on what was going around in reality. But the thing is, they put me in a bed and called the people at Emmanuel to come get me. The entire time, they kept giving me Diet Coke because I have an addiction to Coca-Cola, if you don't know this already. And throughout those weeks, just to place on the whole dying thing, I was going through a really bad withdrawal. I was just feeling even worse and worse. So there they gave me Diet Coke, one, to help me with my withdrawal so I don't just go completely crazy. And 2, the fact my mouth was extremely dry. I could not, like I said, I could not produce saliva. And the funny thing is, they had a TV there, like a lot of hospitals do. And just for my grandma, I turn on the home and gardening thing, have her watch that so she didn't have to worry about me so much. I was so terrified. I was worried how my grandma was feeling. I started to tear up a little. But anyway, that's when the people at the manual came get me, put me on a little stretcher, and they put me in an ambulance and just sent me off to the hospital. They're asking me some few questions there. while I was face down on a stretcher looking at the left wall, while this girl came back and was staring at me the entire time, and I was just terrified, like, get this girl away from me, and they were saying there was no girl there. It was terrible. That's when I went to the hospital manual, and that's more for part 2. Thank you for watching. I got other channels, Dark Fire Productions and this channel, where for Dark Fire Productions I post random stuff, like the stuff I make professionally, and this is where I'll put the vlogs. So I hope you enjoy this, and stay tuned for part 2.